Section 6. Lapse License. Arizona Commissioner's Standards. Requirements for licensees. Introduction. The moment. Everything stops. Jessica thought she had it under control this time. She knew the renewal process, understood the system, and even completed her CE early. But life got busy. Closings piled up, emails stacked, and before she knew it, her license expired. This time, she didn't just feel stressed, she felt stuck. Because once your license lapses in Arizona, everything changes. You don't just pause your business. You legally cannot practice real estate at all. This section is about what happens when a license lapses, what you can and cannot do, and how to recover, before small mistakes turn into serious disciplinary issues. What happens when your license lapses under Arizona law? If your license expires, you may still apply for renewal for up to 1 year after expiration. During that time, you have an opportunity to correct the issue and bring your license back into good standing. However, there is one rule that overrides everything else. Once your license has expired, you cannot conduct any real estate activity until it has been renewed. This includes working with clients, showing property, negotiating contracts, or receiving compensation. The moment your license lapses, your ability to legally operate as a real estate professional stops completely. Real-world example. It was just one showing. Tyler's license expired, but he had a long-term client he didn't want to let down. He figured one showing wouldn't hurt. No paperwork, no contracts, just helping out. But that one showing was considered licensed activity. A complaint was filed, and Adri investigated. Now Tyler wasn't just dealing with a late renewal. He was facing disciplinary action for unlicensed activity. This is one of the most common mistakes agents make. They believe small actions don't count, but under Arizona law, any activity that requires a license is prohibited once that license is expired. The 1-year window, a second chance with risk. Arizona gives licensees a 1-year window to renew after expiration, which provides a valuable second chance, but that window comes with risk. During that time, you cannot legally work, earn commission, or represent clients. This means that even though you have time to fix the issue, your business is effectively paused. Agents who rely on this grace period often underestimate the financial and professional impact of being inactive. Top agents avoid this situation entirely by treating renewal deadlines as non-negotiable and completing the process well in advance. Unlicensed activity. Where problems get serious. If a licensee performs real estate activity while their license is expired, it is considered unlicensed activity, which is a violation under Arizona law. When renewing after a lapse, you may be required to disclose whether you engaged in any such activity. This is where situations can escalate quickly. Penalties can range from a letter of concern to more serious disciplinary actions, including suspension or permanent revocation of the license. A letter of concern is an advisory notice from ADRA, indicating that while the conduct may not yet warrant stronger discipline, it must be corrected immediately to avoid future consequences. Even this initial step can impact your professional record and reputation. Real-world example, the cost of staying active. Maria's license expired just days before a scheduled closing. She decided to move forward anyway, thinking it would be easier to finish the transaction than delay it. The deal closed, and she received compensation. Months later, during a routine review, Adri identified the timeline issue. Because Maria had performed licensed activity and accepted payment while her license was expired, she faced disciplinary action. What seemed like a practical decision at the time turned into a serious compliance violation. This example highlights how quickly small decisions can lead to major consequences when licensing laws are ignored. When a license cannot be reinstated. If a license is simply expired, it may be renewed within the 1-year window. However, if a license has been revoked or terminated, reinstatement is not an option. In those cases, the individual must go through additional steps with ADRA, which may include requalifying, submitting new documentation, or even restarting the licensing process. This is significantly more time-consuming and costly than maintaining compliance through timely renewal. Understanding this distinction is critical for long-term career protection. Broker license path after lapse, starting over. In some situations, especially when advancing to a broker license or after significant lapses, the process may require starting over. Broker applicants must meet strict requirements, including having at least 3 years of experience within the past 5 years, completing 90 hours of pre-licensing education, passing the state examination, and submitting fingerprint clearance and background documentation. These requirements reinforce how much more complex the process becomes once a license is no longer in good standing. Bringing it all together. Expiration is preventable, consequences are not. A lapsed license is one of the most preventable issues in real estate, yet it continues to be one of the most common compliance problems. Every agent knows their expiration date, has access to online renewal, and receives reminders. The difference between a minor inconvenience and a major issue comes down to what happens after expiration. If you stop activity immediately, renew quickly, and follow the law, you can recover. But if you continue working, delay action, or ignore the rules, the consequences can be severe. Jessica learned to treat her license as her most valuable asset, because in Arizona real estate, it is not just a requirement, it is the foundation of your entire career. Online discussion. 1. Why does Arizona strictly prohibit real estate activity once a license has expired? Answer: because licensing laws are designed to protect the public, and allowing unlicensed activity would remove oversight, accountability, and legal safeguards in real estate transactions. 2. What is the biggest risk of continuing to work after a license has lapsed? Answer: the biggest risk is disciplinary action from ADRA, which can include fines, suspension, or permanent revocation of the license, as well as damage to professional reputation. 3. Why is the one-year renewal window considered a second chance but not a safety net? Answer: because while it allows a licensee to recover their license, it does not allow them to legally work during that time, resulting in lost income and business interruption.